Hello and welcome to another amazing edition of the program Weekly Digest from the table of Happy Home Counseling Foundation. My name is Toluwalade Arijenuwa, and believe me, it's amazing having you guys on another edition of the program. As you know, this program was put in place by Happy Home Counseling Foundation to educate both the singles and the married on marital relationship and marriage in general. So this week promises to be another amazing one, as we shall be considering a very important topic. Believe me, this particular topic is so important, and I want to advise that you need to be very attentive to all that we shall be discussing on the program today. Just stay tuned. I will be right back. Alright, you're welcome back. In case you're just joining us, it is Weekly Digest from the table of Happy Home Counseling Foundation. So in case this is your first time of joining us on the program, you have to subscribe, like our videos, share, and don't forget to click on the notification button to get notified when we drop amazing content. Okay, right about now we shall be joining our Father in the Lord in the studio, as he will be taking us through the topic dealing with depression and mood swing. On the program today, we shall be considering what depression is, the signs and symptoms of depression, and how does depression and mood swing affect a marital relationship. These and many more are the things our dear Father in the Lord will be helping us with today in the studio on the program Weekly Digest from the table of Happy Home Counseling Foundation. Don't go anywhere, as today's episode of the program promises to be enlightening, educative, and many more. Just stay tuned.
I welcome our viewers to this episode where we'll be talking about another wonderful topic in relation with our relationship. We are looking at dealing with depression and mood swing. Depression is a state of sadness, a state of inclarity, and a pessimistic feeling with loss of interest in normal enjoyable activity, most time accompanied with severe cases of anorexia, which can consequently result in insomnia and even suicidal action. I will try to make it as simple as I can anyway. Depression is known as a type of mood disorder that can easily be identified by constant feeling of deep sadness, hopelessness, worthlessness, guilt, and loss of interest in activity. It is a feeling of deep discouragement, disillusion, sorrow, and dejection. A depressed individual is that person that is being eaten up by the feelings of unexplainable guilt, loss of interest in activity that naturally would interest the person due to deep issues that are difficult to be resolved personally. However, some school of thought are of the opinion that depression is an action that is due to lack of energy to take care of what is perceived to be an unfair situation. I mean, when people encounter unfair situation and it is difficult for them to come out of that kind of a situation and move on, it's a kind of deep sadness and regret that gradually enters one's life to take over his energy of progress, if not quickly checked and resolved. While on the other way around, mood swing is simply an occasional, sudden, noticeable change of person's mood. In its own case, it's a short-term emotional shift. It can be due to hormonal change, most especially in women. It can be due to issues like pregnancy, like menopause, like monthly menstruation. It can also be due to temperament of an individual. For example, people that belongs to the melancholy temperament are found to have mood swing often. When we are talking of causes of depression, a lot of things can result to depression. But let me first say that depression arises from a form of negative response or reaction to unexpected issues of life. What do I mean by that? There are a lot of things that happens in life. The way you react to it can determine whether it will lead or cause depression on you or not. It could be a result of individual action to stress of life, which can come, of course, in several forms. Maybe in a case of bereavement, that is loss of the death of a loved one, divorce. A lot of people engage in divorce when they refuse to count the cost, and eventually they will come to the term that it is a difficult thing in life. So it can also be as a result of a major illness that is life-threatening. It could be as a result of job loss or financial worries. And like I said and mentioned earlier, it could also be as a result of the personality of an individual. Certain personality traits can make one vulnerable to depression, such as low self-esteem, which can as well be a result of inherited gene from parents or early life unexplainable experience, or even both. Loneliness is another factor that we can talk about that can result to depression. Being cut off from family and friends can increase the risk of depression, and that explains the reason why those people that are being released by the kidnappers need a psychological check sometimes, so that they will not experience depression. Alcohol and drugs can also lead people into depression. Some people believe that when they take alcohol and drug, it will help them out of their stress and depression. But of course, it can help them for a short time, but it is also capable of bringing more depression onto such people. When people encounter illness that is life-threatening, they may find themselves in a position of having higher risk of depression. And I've mentioned the issue of temperaments earlier. There are several temperaments, and each of them have different level by which they can cause risk of depression to individuals. For example, the introverts are more liable to depression. Those that are introverts. Sanguine, for example, they are extroverts. They hardly get depressed, especially when they find themselves in the company of others, unless when they are lonely. Choleric is another temperament, and is another level of they are also extroverts to an extent, but not the extreme extroverts. They also hardly get depressed, unless when they are unable to achieve their goals. Yes, they may be frustrated and get depressed. My major problem is with melancholies. They are the most easily depressed people. They are extreme introverts. They are perfectionists. They measure themselves by their own arbitrary standard perfection, and they get discouraged when they find out they cannot achieve the high standard that they have set for themselves. Most of them do well in life, but that does not mean they are saved from depression. The root of their depression is their high standard and the fact that most of them judge themselves by the unrealizable standard they set for themselves. And that explains the reason why you will see some people, despite the fact that they are successful in life, in their business, in their places of work, they still resort to suicide. The phlegmatic are not easily depressed as well, but in general, nobody is completely safe from being vulnerable to depression. But the level of being vulnerable to depression is higher in some places than the other. I think that's what I will say on that. Concerning the signs and symptoms of depression, again, let me make it clear that being unhappy is not the same thing as being depressed. Occasionally, people may not be happy due to occurrences around them, and people may find themselves with a mood swing, which is not the same thing as depression. Let us mention some of the signs of depression that we can easily notice. One of it is hopeless outlook. When you see somebody that looks hopeless, that is not having confidence in continuing with whatever should benefit him, loss of interest, withdrawal from activity, is a big sign of depression. Loss of sleep is another sign. Loss of appetite. It can come in form of loss of appetite for sex or for food, which eventually can lead to loss of weight. And in that way, it can affect relationship, like we started, that we are looking at the way by which this thing can affect relationship. When somebody that is depressed continue to disengage him or herself from sexual activity, if such a person is not having an understanding partner, you will find out that it will start to affect their relationship. And above all, the big part of it is that those who engage themselves or find themselves depressed usually think of death as being the best solution to their challenges. Men and women, I want to say, exhibit depression in different ways. For women, crying without a specific cause can be a sign. It can be an additional sign. Constant dramatic mood swing can also be an additional symptom. We should be careful to take normal hormonal changes that occurs during women menstruation, pregnancy, childbirth, and menopause as a sign of depression. These ones are temporary and they can easily go. But when you notice constant sadness in a woman or a man as well, or the person continue to blame him or herself all the time, then you can.
And with that, we have come to the end of today's edition of the program Weekly Digest from the table of Happy Home Counseling Foundation. We would have loved to continue, but because of our time, we shall be looking at the same topic next week, which is dealing with depression and mood swing. Don't forget to like our video, subscribe and share. Also, don't forget to click on the notification button to get notified when we drop amazing content like this one. And for questions, prayer and counseling, you can reach out to us via the comment section. We have the counseling department reach out to you and answer your question promptly. Alright, till we come your way again same time next week, my name is Toluwalade Arijeniwa, saying thank you for joining us on the program today. Enjoy your weekend and God bless you.